Honestly, with episode 4 of Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World, I feel terrible for anybody that's watching this show on Crunchyroll because, yeah, that got super spicy. Just jumped right into it. I actually went over and peeked at the Crunchyroll version, and it is a disaster. Like, literally most every scene is just nothing but error windows all over the place. And yes, technically probably a good quarter, maybe a half of this episode was nothing but inappropriate scenes that they're not going to allow because, again, the West is not able to handle it, apparently. I don't know what their future goals is. We've mentioned it several times before that technically Crunchyroll is on the production committee for this show. On one hand, I don't know why. I don't know why they're on it, because I know they don't like this stuff. But on the other hand, it's like you could have got the full version. I don't know why, unless there was like they had a meeting and Crunchyroll's over here going, yeah, we would like the uncensored version, and this other group maybe tied in with ATX says, no, we have an exclusivity for that version and we don't want anybody else to have it. That's, again, all I can think of, unless that's just an excuse like, oh, well, we're not going to fight it because we don't really want it. But yeah, woof, this episode. The funny thing that comes from it is not only just like these error messages all over the screen covering literally everything, which most of it was just Roxanne's chest. Let's be perfectly honest. But yes, technically, this later segment, this like minute-long segment of Meikyuu going for it. I mean, I'm sorry. I guess I could explain it to the folks that watched on Crunchyroll. Yes, they did it. I know you didn't see anything, but they did it. So, in case you were wondering, because most of all the Crunchyroll version is just like a hand doing this. Like, it didn't even do like the whole error messages on the screen and actually showing what's happening behind the error messages. No, it was just Roxanne's hand doing this, bumping over and over again. And it's like, okay, I guess you can get an idea of what's happening. Yeah, and they even cut the sound too. They cut the sound because the sound was too much. Whew. Anyways, overall, this episode was interesting. From a vantage point of me really curious as to how Meikyuu was going to handle the situation in front of him. And honestly, there was two sides to me that really believed that either it can go from the direction that Meikyuu is going to be kind of very, not standoffish, but be hesitant to push himself upon Roxanne. Like, okay, here she is here. Yes, she's willing. Yes, this is allowed in this world. This is allowed. I bought her. But I figured it was going to be one of those things where he was eventually going to say, when you're ready. Because it did seem like most of the episode, he was kind of being more flirtatious. He was being very forward to her, that he does like her, and she was always kind of, accepting it, but also at times being embarrassed. Like even the moment where she wanted to convert her underwear into oil rags. She was embarrassed by it. Like mostly the idea of the lower half. It kind of reminds me a lot of like My Dress Up Darling, even though that she was very forward, she showed a lot. Whenever it came to the lower regions, he was a little more embarrassed. But no, it got to a point where Meikyuu is just like, I can't stop anymore. Like she's literally in here. I keep seeing this stuff. I gotta get this out. And so he just, okay, we're doing it. So we're doing it. So it happened. It was fine. I mean, are you allergic to me talking about this? Are you done sneezing, girl? It's done and over with. So it's fine. Like I said, I was kind of hoping it would be more of a thing of like allow her to choose when, which is not a big deal. Again, this is this world. Again, it has been established that she's willing. It's one of those things where I kind of just wish that it was a little bit more. He did ask before he did anything, but he was very, very forward with it. Again, not my cup, not my choice. I wouldn't have gone that far, but this is Meikyuu, not me. So this is Meikyuu's story, not mine. Most of the episode was cool, though. Kind of getting Roxanne kind of geared up was great. It kind of shifted very quickly in him discussing the idea that, he's going to take her into Labyrinth. She's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Like, she's full on the idea of being useful to him, especially when it comes to a battle partner. And so she doesn't need equipment for it, so they go out shopping. I like how, like, everything that she chooses, she's very adamant about choosing the right one. And my thought process that they were going to eventually explain it is either being a thing that she's very cautious about what she chooses. I'm assuming it's the cautious part because we do get in this whole bit about her preparing the gear. Like the gear needs to be prepared. This is your livelihood. If you don't fail, and that's kind of a cool thing to kind of push onto Meikyuu. Again, probably overthinking it, but it's at least establishing to Meikyuu, this is the world. He's come to here, he's been reincarnated in the world, and he's kind of not really gotten fully into his head that, yeah, he could die. Yes, he did have this whole situation with the Treants. Yes, he has reacted to essentially taking out the bandits. But this is a point, I guess, where Roxanne's going to be a good, like, standing post to tell him, look, you need to be more cautious. This gear is your life. If this gear fails, you lose your life. Roxanne's the grounding of an actual person in this world that realizes that death is a threat. So yeah, I kind of assumed that it could have been either that or the idea of her respecting her master's money by being very cautious about what she chooses. Being sure to examine it and realize this is his money, not mine. I need to make sure that I choose the right one so I don't waste his money. I thought that was really cute. And yes, technically getting clothes and underwear as well, because that's a necessity. I like how his mind starts running off about like her wearing some really cute outfit or something like that, and he's like, oh yeah, that's right, that's probably not in this world. No, it's just these rags that are kind of tied up. That's all Pantsu is in this world. But again, it's technically funny, the idea that in the future, every time he needs to clean his equipment, technically, he's using Roxanne's Pantsu, so that's kind of funny. Additionally, with the idea of her being kind of a grounding in this world, I do like the aspect that she's technically the person that's going to be his information. I like how very quickly he established, look, I'm from a far off place, and I don't really know the normalities of this area. So if there's anything, please teach me what's normal in this world. And yes, that kind of applies to his treatment of Roxanne. She wants to lay on the floor at night unless they are, making it, but he doesn't really go by those standards. He doesn't understand, plus he doesn't really want to go by those standards, obviously. Yeah, but he established that she will be kissing him before bed and in the morning every day, which she follows word for word. Apparently, they're going to go on their first Labyrinth run here in this following day, which will be in the next episode. So I'll be curious to see at that point how everything plays out, because my question that I had with the last episode is, now that she is technically his ownership, is he going to be able to apply jobs? Is he going to be able to change skills just like he does his own equipment? And again, I think that'll be a really cool thing to start getting into as the story goes along, so outside of the ecchi naughty stuff. And hopefully going on to the future, he will always make sure that Roxanne's tail is wagging. I'm like, oh yeah, that's how that works. It's like, no, I can't really, it's really hard for me to move it on my own, but if I wag my butt like this, it'll wag. But it always seems to move a lot whenever I'm happy. And he's like, well, let's make sure we keep that tail wagging. So it was a cute little thing to add at the end there. But anyways, that's my thoughts on episode 4 of Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World. Again, apologies to everybody that had to watch this on Crunchyroll. You don't deserve it. You deserve better. Crunchyroll, you deserve to give your audience what they deserve and what they buy into, but that's an ongoing discussion that I don't think will ever end. But again, there's other methods of getting it, and many people will. And I think this will probably be the one that pushes everybody that's not yet to go over to find other methods. But that's my thoughts on episode 4. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Do you think he was too forward? Are you like, yeah, whatever, I would do the same thing? Let me know in the comments down below. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I definitely appreciate everybody that supports us, and y'all take care.